Hey, sports fans. I'm back out in the lanai again. Temperature today really dropped. It's down into the, I'm going to say, upper 70s. It feels nice. Little update on phase one around here, and I'm getting this right out of the recreational news, and it talks about the next phase and what you need to know. And I'm just reading this off the front of it. I have to go through here and find out what any of this really means. It says always carry your own water, disinfecting wipes, hand sanitizer, face mask, photo and villager ID, and your own equipment. I'm assuming they're talking about the sports pools at the regional rec centers. Somebody left me an email and said all pools were open. That's not true. Came by the Hillsborough pool, the neighborhood pool, that's the adult pool. There's a sign there saying closed till further notice. So all the pools are not open. I know the regional rec centers are open, and the sports pools at those regional rec centers, because that's where the sports pools here are at anyways, at the regional rec center. They're open, but they're monitoring how many and those kinds of things. And I do believe that in the rec centers, the regional rec centers, wearing a face mask is required. I could be wrong about that. That's why I got this paper out here. Hopefully it'll... Here's another little thing too, that people... Remember I told you that some people seem to think that they know all the rules around here about you can't drone here, you can't take a picture there, and I don't want my picture taken. You don't have no say-so about a lot of that. It's like when you go to Disney World and you're walking around there and your picture's probably being taken 1,000 times by other people. It's just the way it is. It's just something you accept by buying the ticket. Media release. Participation in clubs, activities, and events throughout the villages may be photographed, recorded, and by participation in the activity, participants irrevocably consents to be photographed, recorded, and grants the Villages of Florida Incorporated and its successors assigns and license the right to perpetuity and distribute the results of such photograph recording in all media throughout the world. Which means if you go to the square, anybody can photograph you dancing or whatever you're doing. If you're walking around the sidewalks, if you're in any of the rec centers, and I've been in all of them, and I've taken a lot of pictures, you're gonna get photographed. And don't get all puckered up about it. The responsibility visit a rec center or park. Please keep the following. Always check with your healthcare provider. If you are sick or have symptoms of fever, cough, shortness of breath, or recently exposed to coronavirus 19, please do not come to any recreation center or park until you have doctor clearance. I'm reading this from this page here. Stay at least 6 feet away from others. Wearing a mask is requested if closer than 6 feet. If you're closer than 6 feet, a mask is required. And appropriate attire for the activity. Well, that seems like a no-brainer, I suppose. I don't know what that means, but, I don't know. Some people have a weird idea about what appropriate attire is. Wash your hands with soap and water frequently, 20 seconds or longer. Bring your own water bottle. Bring your own hand sanitizer and disinfectant wipes. Cover coughs and sneezes with tissue, then throw tissue in trash. Avoid touching eyes, nose, and mouth. Clean and disinfect frequently touched objects and surfaces. Oh, it means take cleaning rags. And so if you go to a public restroom at any of the rec centers, that's what they're talking about. You go to the bathroom, you wash your hands, you're shutting the water off and all this and that. So they're asking you, anything that you touch, use your disinfectant wipes and wipe it off so that the next person coming in doesn't touch the same thing you touched, just in case one of you happens to have the virus on your hands. Bring your own equipment, supplies conducive to the activity. Limit activity to 1 hour. So there you go. I was talking the other day about that. I don't know how they're going to keep people separated into the pool, because if some people go to these pools, literally they're there most of the day. They just stay there. And if they're going to limit it, say to, I don't know, 25 people, let's say, I'm just using a number, but yet you got another 25 people wanting to get in that pool, what are they going to do? Tell these pool I don't know what they're going to do. Well, apparently they're asking you to limit your activity to 1 hour. So if you go to the pool, an hour later, leave so somebody else can get in there, I guess. Phase 1 began April 27th. Key recreation and park staff will return to further clean and prepare facilities. Efforts will include establishing 6-foot buffers in areas. So social dancing may be actively practiced. Staff will be reviewing and modifying recreational procedures to ensure alignment with health and safety guidelines. All recreation centers and facilities are still closed to the public. Please do not attempt to access. Phase 2. When approved, I keep looking at myself and I find myself slouching like this. I get down and I have to, so excuse me. Recreational activities that meet criteria of specific health department guidelines will begin opening. Some of the criteria taken into consideration will include limiting exposure, high respiration activities, activity interaction, and the interaction of persons with objects. While we are still evaluating operations, some of what you can expect to experience is outlined in the following pages, and any changes will be announced in the village's Daily Sun. I use my videos really to educate people on what it is down here, the good and the bad. I get criticized all the time about the news on Friday, but hey, it is what it is. I mean, it isn't like I'm making this stuff up, but you may not like to hear about the coronavirus, but it's news. And so when you turn your TV on, that's the top news of what's going on. You may get sick of it. I get sick of it. I understand. But can't blame the guy on the news talking about it. That's his job. This is my job here. I enjoy doing it. And I really enjoy meeting the people more than anything. Sue and I have both said that. When we have meet and greets or we're traveling and somebody says, hey, if you're coming through this town, can you give me a call? I'd like to stop and talk to you, blah, blah, blah. We do that. And we do it all the time. And that's our favorite thing, I think, is actually meeting people and talking to them and be able to answer questions or to explain something face to face. This camera right here, to me, is 6,000 faces. And I'm just trying to explain things to you the best I can to let you understand how it is here and everyday life here. And everyday life here is different for each person. But there are some things here that everyday life affects everybody. And it just does. And if you don't like it, then I'm going to say don't move here, because that's the way it is. Okay, I think I've read phase 2. Now let's go on to phase 3. Sorry for the ramble. Beyond the month of May and successful completion of phase 2, the district could include the additional openings of outdoor facilities and activities, as well as the phasing in of district support services. With each phase, the district will evaluate the advice of the local, state, and government agencies, including what activities should be permitted, facilities opened, and the most up-to-date attendance gathering requirements. Important changes and announcements will continue to be posted on the, get your pencil and papers out, boys and girls, www.districtgov.org. That's where all the villages information, I think, and their requirements come from, is that website. as well as sent out in our e-notifications. If you're not on the village's email list, you should be, especially if you're considering buying here. They send emails out. Generally, I don't know, I get them all the time. I don't think there's any regular time that they send them out. It's just when something happens or something's going on your phone or wherever you get your emails, you'll get notified. About parades. I've been notified about shutdowns. I've been notified about water lines being broke here or there, sinkholes, a lot of information right there. I get that too. People are, I don't want to hear about sinkholes. They scare me. Okay. Pools. Designated pools currently open. This is going to be a long video, I think. Additional pools will be phased in when appropriately approved. Always carry, it says this all through this magazine, always carry your own water, disinfecting wipes, hand sanitizer, face mask, photo, and villager ID. Notice it says photo and villager ID, because most villages' IDs already has your picture on it. But if you have a guest pass, and a lot of people don't even read what the guest pass says, but the person that gets the guest pass for their guest is actually responsible. Your guest pass tells you on there, must be accompanied with a photo ID. And if you have any children coming down here, technically, go to your state, I think library, maybe the DMV, maybe for free, or maybe for a small fee of $5 or something. You can get a photo ID for that child. And to be totally legal, you're supposed to have that along with your guest ID. Children must be 14 years old to operate a golf cart. 14, not 12. Not 13, not 11, 14. Now, if something should happen and a police officer shows up for a report of some kind, that's where the photo ID comes in. You can show them a village's ID, but that ID has a name on it, but it doesn't say this person here holding that ID is this person. So that's where the picture ID comes in. Grandma can say, oh, this is my grandson, this is Trey. I'm telling you his name's Trey. That's all well and good, but the police officer doesn't know that that's Trey. He needs proof. So the photo ID along with the village's ID is all you're going to need. And that's why you have these kinds of things, because even though that accident may not be your fault, it may be the guy's other fault, totally, no question about it. He's going to make an accident report out. He's going to need that person to be able to prove who they are. Village's residents shall have priority of all the pools. Staff members will monitor the gates. Come dressed to swim. Showers will not be available. Modified peak participation guidelines will be used. Face masks required to be worn outside and inside the pool. That's a new one. All pools will be open beginning May the 11th. Ironic. That's my birthday. It's ironic. Water exercise and water volleyball are not available at this time. So you're not going to be able to do any of that. And it's showing a sample sports pool setup. You know, they have lanes for like lap swimming. And it's showing one person per lane. Maximum of 35 people at a time in open area. You have the lap pool side of the sports pool. And then on the other side, it's a big open area. That's where they set up volleyball nets when you can do it and things like that. So they're allowing 35 people at a time in the open areas, always 6 feet apart. So they don't want you standing in the middle of the pool in groups, you know, socializing, talking. That's what they do at most of these adult pools. They stand in the middle of the pool and they talk. Swimmers must bring their own equipment. Sports pool equipment will not be available. Combination swim only. Pool will have 4 lanes in for lap swimmer, 1 swimmer per lane. So that'll be 4 people, 1 per lane. Open pool area for water, walking, and exercise. Indoor. Open activities as of Monday, May 11. Villages residents shall have priority. Rooms will be set up for open use. However, there will be no adjustments to the room setup. In other words, you can't be sliding tables together. I think I already talked about that. Organized club activities will not be permitted during this time. Restrooms will be limited. Bring your own equipment and supplies. Indoor activities beginning May 11th. Arts and crafts. Kilns are not available. Billiards, darts, table shuffleboard, lobby areas, and Wi-Fi use. Parks and fishing. Parks currently open. Villages residents shall have priority. All dogs are required to be on a leash at all times. Do not allow dogs off a leash on any athletic field or other public areas. Not allowing pets to play and walk on common area landscaping, preserves, or environmental areas. Make sure you have your own water. Review signage for site-specific information and requirements. Follow posted directions on signage. Dog parks beginning May 11th. You are to be 6 feet away. Bring your dog's water ball and toys. This will not be made available. Dog parks are fenced-in play areas for both large and small dogs, designated for dogs to run freely and socialize with other dogs. Owners is responsible for picking up after pets. Please take all waste home for disposal. Do not use storm drains, postal or recreational facilities for the disposing of solid waste and plastic bags. Dog owners are responsible for any injuries caused by their dogs. Dogs must wear current license tags and have up-to-date vaccinations. Fishing is currently allowed. Continue to follow all social distancing guidelines. Comply with federal and state and local laws, including having proper licensing. For a complete list of locations, visit the www.districtgov.org website. Respect any areas marked with no fishing signs. Fishing is catch and release. Clean up after yourself. We don't have too much trouble with that. Most people here are proud of the villages. They're proud of the way it looks. That's why they bought here. So as far as people throwing down beer bottles on the ground or stuff like that, we don't really have hardly an issue with that at all. And if we do see one, it's usually because out of a contractor's pickup truck driving down the roads, a cup blows out, or what else is it? Somebody in a golf cart that puts something in a basket in the back and not paying attention, blows out. Currently open, as far as, I think we're talking about parks here. Outdoor parks, Ashland Park, Boone Park, Blue Heron, Golf View Lake, Kelsey Park, Live Oaks Park, Paradise Park, Swartz Park, Springdale Walking Trail, Sugarcane, Sunset Park, Lake Sumter and Lake Sumter Landing, Veterans Memorial Park, Wilkerson Creek, Sharon Rose, Weishen's Preserve. Beginning May 11th, dog parks that are open. Paradise Dog Park, Mulberry Dog Park, Brinson Perry Dog Park, Atlas Canine Recreation Park, Dudley Canine Park, and Rupert Canine Park. Outdoor activities. Once again, it says villages residents have priority, and make sure you got your own water, and so on and so forth. Outdoor activities beginning May the 11th. Archery, air gun, lawn bowling, croquet, shuffleboard, Patanic, I don't even know what that is, corn toss, horseshoes, RC boats, and RC cars. Fenny putt and play, bocce, that's bocce ball, fishing, outdoor fitness equipment, basketball, social distancing, prefer not to share a ball. Currently not available. Softball, pickleball, beach tennis, platform tennis, sand volleyball, soccer, and flag football. I didn't even know we had flag football, but apparently we do. Recreation equipment for checkout. That is you go to any of these places, like any of the rec centers where they have a little shack next to tennis and pickleball and bocce ball, all that in the same area, you can go in and you can get the free equipment to play those games. Recreation equipment for checkout beginning May the 11th. And you're also welcome to bring your own equipment too. You don't have to use their equipment. Where are we at? Make request with staff member, no call-ins. Recreation sports equipment is located in the recreation center. Recreation staff will assist you in securing equipment. A valid Village's ID card or guest ID with proper identification is required. People seem to miss that part. Equipment is available after 7:30 a.m. based on availability. No equipment will be checked out after 7:30 p.m. Equipment must be returned immediately following use. Please limit play time to 1 hour if others are waiting. Use only at designated recreation center. Use at your own risk. Cannot be taken off property. Please report any damage to equipment. Staff reserves the right to limit or deny equipment in the interest of the public health, safety, and welfare. Appropriate age for facilities for equipment is to be issued. One person or set of group not to exceed 4. Checkout items will vary from center to center. Items include if activity is approved for play. Equipment not available: pickleball, tennis, beach tennis, platform tennis, softball, soccer, flag football. I'm going to have to check out where that flag football is. Social and events. The Recreation and Parks Department has canceled all recreation-sponsored events until further notice. All recreation refunds are being processed as quickly as possible. Camp villages. This probably is going to affect a lot of people. For the safety of all participants and staff, Camp Villages is canceled until further notice. Our team is evaluating and planning more great special events for the future. Please continue to visit www.districtgov.org and read the Recreation and Park News for more updates. The Enrichment Academy. The safety of residents, guests, staff, and visitors in the Village's community continue to be the utmost importance of Recreational and Parks Department. The Enrichment Academy courses have been canceled for the month of May. And go to the same website to get updates on that. Resident lifestyle volunteer groups. Due to health department guidelines requiring social distancing and limiting exposure of 6 feet apart, resident lifestyle volunteer groups will not be meeting in May. We are optimistic that with each day, the new updates and directions from the federal and state health agencies will continue to be favorable, and your Recreational Parks Department will continue to open up and expand access to residents and lifestyle groups. And then it says here on the very last page, it says face masks are required for all indoor and outdoor activities. I guess that should answer everybody's question about what's going on. So we got at least 3 phases to go through. I have been told and emailed by friends or people I know that RV a lot. And they're telling me that places like Thousand Trails, memberships and things like that, they are not allowing anybody to go in, or you can leave, I guess, but nobody can go in. And a lot of the other parks are closed, and they're saying there's going to be, in certain states of the United States, 5 phases to reopen. And they've already canceled everything in those areas until June 15th at the earliest that they're going to start phasing them open. I think some of the national parks are that way now, from what I've read, that they are possibly going to have a soft opening around June the 15th. I'm not even sure they're going to allow anybody to camp in there, but I think this is going to go beyond May. Villages are looking at May, but this is all state by state. Just because they're doing something in Florida doesn't necessarily mean they're doing this in Indiana. It's all kind of similar, but each state has their own protocol about what they're going to do and how they're going to do it and when they're going to do it. So what we're doing here doesn't necessarily mean that's what they're going to be doing elsewhere. So, with that being said, see you guys on the other side.